welcome back to my channel, and this video is going to be the end of year book tag for 2025. I actually got this video idea from Laurie Reed, who I fucking love to watch, and I was honestly being like, oh no, what am I going to video this week, because I am sick, nearly out of the hospital recently, and it has been a whole thing. So I am finally glad to be able to just sit here and do this and have set out questions. I really want to do a reading vlog, but I'm almost glad I didn't now, because I just finished a book that quite literally broke my heart. My heart physically hurts. Like, I don't know whether to thank my book club for getting me to read that book or curse them all, because for one, it ended on a cliffhanger and I hate that. But for some reason, I actually want to read the next book in 2027. But we will focus on the ending of 2025. So here is the 2025 end of the year book tag. Number one is best recommendation I got this year, which has to be that book I just finished. It's ended by two authors, Bree Greenwich and Parker Lennox. I honestly did not expect to love it this much. I was actually dreading starting it because it is over 700 pages. Was not looking forward to it at all. I finished it probably about 20 minutes ago and cried my eyes out. Like, 700 pages did not feel like 700 pages. And yes, it left on a cliffhanger. I hate that, but I loved it this time. Like, it was so worth it. And I can't wait. Like, honestly, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. A book has not made me feel that way in so long. I would actually go as far to say it is over 5 stars. Yes, some small, really minor things annoyed me, where you could tell where the author got ideas from other books. For example, one of the city names was very like Valaris from obviously like Sarah J Maas's world. So it annoyed me. I feel like the authors could have very well created their own name that was more unique to their story, but if anything, it did not take away how much I enjoyed this book. On the opposite side though, a book that disappointed me this year was The Wrath King. Show you a picture right here, and because I can't remember the author's name for the life of me, I am awful, but I had really high hopes for this book. It was one of my book club reads, and most of those book club reads have been really good. Like, I was actually quite shook, because normally I'm quite picky, but most of it, we were on a good strike. We were 5 star, 4 star, 5 star, 2.5 for The Wrath King. It was just very much forceful, the romance aspect of it. It made me really uncomfortable at times, and it's just not worth it. It was one of those books that most of the time I had to force myself to read. I think it got to about 70% through when I actually was like, I actually want to know what happens next, and really, I should be doing that the whole way through the book, not whenever it just hit 70%, because I had to push myself to get there. Some of the girls DNF'd at like 50%, 30%, and I really don't blame them. I'm just way too stubborn to DNF a book, but I wish I could. On to the Underdog book of the year, question 3. Very, very obvious answer for me is For Whom the Bell Tolls. It is amazing. I loved it. It was so funny. It was like a really refreshing idea and concept too. Like, the romance between Lily and Belle throughout this book was actually so refreshingly good. Like, the miscommunication trope, the opposite. They communicated about everything. It was funny. Normally too, whenever there's a child involved, like, it wasn't the pregnancy trope. Like, it's not biologically her kid, but normally it ends up always being quite weird, and I don't normally like that kind of stuff. But this time, the kid, oh my god, Sharky, I love her. She's so cute. But honestly, this book is so refreshing. The idea of her dying and choosing to stay there, and her job there, and I don't want to spoil too much, because honestly, you should go and just enjoy it. Like, it's a nice, fun vibe for once. Like, it wasn't too serious. Please go read it, 100%. It was definitely one of the 5 star reads for me this year. Number 4, what book was overhyped? And sadly, it was On Wings of Blood, which I've heard so many people give positive reviews about, but yes, I give it a 4 star, and that probably really dictates, like, very the opposite of what I'm trying to say right now. But it was also one of the books I had to force myself to read, overall, it was a good book, but if I think about it now, I probably would have rated it lower. It would go from nothing really happening, something happens, and nothing happens, and there's still certain parts of the plot that just never got touched on, and it was more agitating than anything else. So I would have to say that it's overhyped. I'm really sorry, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't read it. Please go ahead, read it, because it's just my opinion. But at the same time, a few of us from the book club did agree that it was just very slow paced. Number 5, a book that surprised me, was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I read the whole series this year and I loved the movie. The first movie, it was like a comfort film for me. Like, I loved it. So I took ages trying to get all the hardcovers of the book because of course I couldn't settle for paperback. And I went through all of them this year, and honestly it really surprised me because I didn't know how they were going to keep it going, where they finished it off with the movie. And honestly, I'm really, really happy with how it goes. Obviously, all the books have kind of like blended into one now with me, so I can't really talk about specifically. But let's just say I expected them to, as some long series go, they run out of ideas. But it was just so like creative, and it pulled you along the entire way through all the books. And I was surprised by that, so I really recommend that series as well. It's definitely became one of my close favorites. Number 6, favourite book couples, which I really love. First, going back to For Whom the Bell Tolls, Lily and Belle. So good and positive for each other. Like, I read a lot of books that are like dark romance, so obviously you don't really, in real life, fuck no. But for these two, honestly, everyone should really be aiming for a relationship like that. So, oh my god, definitely those two. Second, going back to the dark romance, Olivia and Malachi from Little Liar. Little Liar is a geology, and honestly, it was very, very good. A lot of people had really mixed reviews about it, but at the same time, I loved it. And I don't know, it's probably not the most positive relationship, but at the same time, if you know, you know, I really enjoyed it. Third is The Losers Duet, the relationship between Jess, Vincent, Lucas, and Mason. Now, I read this at the very beginning of the year, so I don't really remember much. I love reverse harem, so yeah, I love relationships like that, and it is honestly one of the ones that's really worth reading. And last but not least, you can't not mention it, saying that I read it this year, even though, yes, I was very, very late on the trend. Nesta and Cassian, oh my god. Um, I know I don't even have to say much for people to understand where I'm coming from with this. Wow. Um, Definitely my favorite. Like, I thought I would hate Nesta, to be honest, at the very beginning, and I did. Like, for a lot of this, I didn't like her. But then, I don't know, like, the book really pulls you in and you start to go really attached. Question number 7, favorite main character of this year, and not the type of like book I would go down. Normally I'm very romance and romantic and stuff like that, but I read Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone, and honestly, this main character's book is mainly about her battling OCD and going through a lot of trauma and how she finds poetry to help that. And as somebody who writes poetry sometimes, I really enjoyed it. And even though I do not have OCD, I have a few other disorders that kind of link to certain aspects of this, and I see myself throughout it, and it just made me become quite attached to her in this book very quickly. My favourite new authors I discovered this year, this will probably surprise a lot of people, but Sarah J Maas. I had not read any books this year, and I actually started Court of Thorns and Roses series at the end of last year and finished this series at the beginning of this year. So I do plan to read more of hers. I know she has The Throne of Glass along with a few other things, and I have them. They're upstairs, I have them on my shelves, but I just need to wait until I'm emotionally prepared, because this girl breaks your heart and steals everything else along with it. Now, authors that didn't work out for me this year were Juliet Cross, as I said, who wrote The Wrath King. It just didn't click with me. It didn't click with a lot of us. The way she was trying to come across did not feel that way. And another one was Berbolin. I think I've definitely said her first name wrong, but A Wings of Blood, as I said, very hyped up book that a lot of people love. I couldn't get that connection, and that's okay. Maybe another book that she writes will get that for me, but just for me personally, at the time I was reading it, the geology, the two books that are currently out right now, are very slow paced, and that's just not what I was looking for at the time. The happiest book I read this year was For Whom the Bell Tolls. Honestly, JC Lynn reached with this book. I know it's about her dying and her story in the afterlife, but it's so fun and enjoyable. And yes, there's times that it resonated with you. It's talking about how to make the most of your life and you're alive and stuff like that. And it does get quite meaningful and deep at certain parts, but like it was actually so fun and enjoyable, and it's very lighthearted. Like they use humor a lot to get through things, and I don't know, this book was very me. I don't know how else to explain it. Opposingly, the saddest book I read this year was Betty. Again, Tiffany McDaniel, never heard of her, and this is never a book I would normally read either, but I'm doing a TBR jar right now, and this book I probably bought back in like 2020, and I finally read it this year as it came up in my TBR jar, and that's the whole reason I got that, is to read books that I wouldn't pick up again. And honestly, the cover's amazing, but it was so fucking sad. This is the saddest book I've read this year entirely. The author has written the story of her mother and the generations of her family, and it's very incredibly sad. There's a lot of heartbreak, and honestly, I don't want to go too deep into it all because it is quite a darker read, but it's based in 1954, so as you can probably imagine the things that were happening, honestly, very fucking sad what happens with her and her family. The most frustrating book I read this year, The Bond That Burns, the second book to Wings of Blood, is mainly because I was hoping that things would pick up in that second book. At the end of the book, we are still introduced to one dragon, and the whole concept is there's four dragons for the four houses. It's very Harry Potter in ways, and honestly, I was expecting more. Nah, it's still the same fucking dragon in the second book. No one else has been revealed. There's still parts that she's hinting at that she hasn't even touched on. There's a lot of parts in the book that you feel has just been pushed in there for no reason, and that just made it really frustrating because I was expecting maybe, I was hopeful that maybe it would pick up again in the second book because I didn't get what I wanted in the first one, and no, that was just not the story. So once again, Bare Bowling just wasn't happening for me. 13, the best book adaptation for this year. Now, I think it's cheating to really say this because I haven't actually read the book, but I know I'll like it. Sunrise of the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I love every Hunger Games book out there and all the movies that they make in adaptation. Let's just say I cannot wait to read this. Like, this is a book I really hope to read next year. And honestly, the movie is coming out, I think, in 2026 or 2027, and it looks so good. Like, I cannot wait to learn more about Haymitch and his story and his games and how he overcame that, and I'm actually really buzzing. I don't know why I haven't read this actually. I really need to hurry up and get to it. Question 14, a book cover that was my favourite from this year, and that is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. And honestly, look at that. It honestly was the main thing that drew me in. Like, this is one of the ones where I was definitely judged the book by its cover. I seen the girl and how the forest is kind of coming out of her face. It's very gothic kind of book where the forest quite literally overtakes their bodies. It is so good. I don't remember what I rated it, but even like they told us to wait and stay alive, very much a gothic telling. Like, the government basically leaves them alone and tells them to wait because they're going to get them help. And let's just say, it is, like, I can't spoil it, but it is stunning and it lives up to the cover. We took a little break. I needed a break. And my computer died. So, we're back. Okay, number 15, a book I haven't... What the fuck is the question again? A book you haven't stopped thinking about? Number 15, a book I haven't stopped thinking about, which is The House of My Mother by Shari Frankie. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because I grew up watching their channel and seeing the abuse Ruby put the kids through, and it basically happened in real time with all of us. And it's hard to forget about something like that, especially when Shari goes into quite a lot of detail about the abuse starting and the control and the manipulation. It's not something you can really read and move on, if you know what I mean. Number 16, an unpopular book I love, and I read quite a few of hers from multiple different series, so I can't exactly give you one, but Kate Oliver. It's very comforting reads for me. They're about romance and how relationships can heal you through certain traumas, and honestly, I can't really name you a specific book or series, but they're very niche. Not many people have heard of her, and I love her series. I've read multiple of them. If anything happens or if I'm upset, they're like my go-to. Number 17, unpopular book I didn't love, which I think I've mentioned multiple times, but On Wings of Blood. As I said, I keep finding more and more videos online of people talking about how much they loved these books. They weren't for me. They were too slow. It took way too long for things to start happening, and when they did, the author kept hinting at different parts, and most of it had no purpose. It would basically be like the author would tell you this happened in her past, and then it would mean nothing for the rest of the story. Like, you're meant to be able to use that information and continue it on. It was almost as if she was putting in information for no reason. We had this issue the last time, guys. Can we please chill? Number 18, a book I thought I would love, but I didn't, which was The Wrath King. Again, it's a dark fantasy. It's very supernatural, and I just didn't click. It sounds good. Like, the back of the book, I read it, I researched about it because we do that before we vote, and it sounded actually quite good. I'm pretty sure it was one of the ones I voted for, if I'm not wrong, but it was borderline creepy. Like, the romance was very rapey, and that's really the only way you can put it. It was so unconsensual, and it was so uncomfortable the whole time. I distinctly remember messaging the group chat being like, does anyone else feel this way? Because it was just not for me. But then I got clarification whenever we had our book of the month, like, little gathering, and we all, I hate to say it, shit talked the book for a good 10 minutes before moving on. Number 19, a book with the most unique concept, which was The Ascended, that I just finished and I would fucking die for. There's an ascension, there's a hierarchy of all these different gods, and how it just came about. There's different realms, and as much as I see the inspiration from other books, oh my god, I loved it. All the different powers, all the different types of gods, their roles, like, it's very, very unique. Like, you don't get much of that. The world building was so strong for romantasy too. Like, honestly, I normally quite get confused, but I loved it. And the fact that I'd done a bit of research too, the two authors are close friends, and I just love the fact that they were able to combine and write this together. It actually sounds really, really nice. Now onto a book that I would reread. A Court of Silver Flames, like, no doubt, is such like a unique book. The A Court of Thorns and Roses series, that I feel like if I reread it again, I'd feel almost different emotions about the whole thing. You'd notice more. It's one of those books I feel like you could never get bored of, no matter how many times you reread it, even though you already know the story. And honestly, I kind of hope that I do reread them again. I want to. 21, a priority read for next year. I cannot emphasize enough. The Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. I have just pre-ordered the Laurie Reed's versions. Stunning. I even done TikTok about it. Oh my god, they look amazing. And yes, I have like the version, like the normal copy for the UK upstairs, and I haven't read it yet. But I just know that this will wreck me. Eureka, Laurie Reed's mom, even commented underneath one of my comments being like, I need to read it because it'll change the trajectory of my life, and I need that. So I do plan, I really need to read it next year, even though I know it'll probably break me just as much as The Ascended did. Number 22, my reflection on my 2025 Goodreads reading goal. Currently, I aimed to read 50 books this year. I'm on 34. No way am I going to catch up, and honestly, I do wish I could read more, but I also came to the realization at the beginning of this year too that I need to lower my expectations for my reading while I'm doing the level of course that I'm doing. I was hoping this wouldn't happen again. Like, I don't know if you can see this. Anyway, I almost wish I could read more, but I also need to understand that I'm doing a level 5 course and that needs to come first. So a lot of the times I have had to put my coursework in front of my reading, and I'm going to keep my reading goal next year for probably the same 50 and hope that maybe next year in 2026 I might actually be able to read it. Question 23. A book I wish I got to this year, which would be Sunrise on the Reaping. I need to find out what happened to Hamish. The reason his alcoholism issue started, like, he's such a complex character so far, and not even knowing his story is driving me insane. Plus, now the clips of like the teasers coming out for the movie too, and I need to read it before the movie comes out because I refuse to be a person who watches the movie and then read the books. Come here, baby Baba, you be the star of the show. You be even Santa Push. Okay, question 24. What do I want to prioritize for next year? I finally have created a schedule to balance YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and I want to be able to grow my channel. Like right now, I have 27 subscribers, and I am so fucking appreciative of that. And I'm also trying to grow my Instagram and my TikTok at the same time. So I want to prioritize the growth of my channels next year while also trying to keep up with reading a normal amount and keeping my coursework, because I have very high expectations for what I want my grades to be next year. So I just want to prioritize all of the individual things, plus my journaling. Like, there's so many hobbies that I want to prioritize next year. I just need to find the balance. Question 25, my reading goals for next year, which would be to not only read my 50 books that I was aiming to read this year, but also to continue to go through my TBR jar. Because the reason I created the TBR jar was I had so many books in the house, but I kept reading like ones on my phone and my Kindle instead. So I have a few pages that just say like Kindle break while having all the books in my house too. Because there's some books I buy and I love the sound of them, but they're also so big that, you know, you're scared to even start to read them. So my TBR jar is the tool for that. I have just picked out another one after finishing The Ascended because I also need to keep reading our monthly books for book club along with the ones for the jar. So a lot to keep up with, but that is my goal. Question 26, my book content goals for 2026, which is once again grow my community, grow my following, reach out to more people, and just, I have commented so much this on Instagram already, but just make my own little community of people. And I hope that if I keep consistently filming, making content, that I will eventually do that, because I tried this before and I don't know why I stopped. I can't actually remember, but I hope that if I keep going this time, that I will reach out to the side of the people who want to watch me. Now, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and check out my other social medias, which are in the description below, along with a list of questions for this tag if you want to go ahead and do it yourself. Bye!